In the bustling city of Chicago, a group of engineers worked tirelessly for months on a highly advanced delivery system designed to optimize traffic flow and improve delivery speeds. Despite their best efforts, the system continued to face insurmountable obstacles. Their designs were plagued with glitches, inefficiencies, and safety concerns. Frustration mounted as the engineers found themselves trapped in a cycle of failed solutions. They had spent countless hours on calculations, simulations, and hardware tests, but the delivery system just wouldn't work as intended. The engineers were on the verge of giving up. One day, as the engineers were deep in a heated debate about what to try next, a delivery truck pulled up. Inside, a black delivery driver named Marcus stepped out, overhearing their conversation as he prepared to drop off a package. Marcus had been driving for years and had seen it all, from system failures to last-minute rerouting. But what happened next would change everything. Marcus had always approached problems from a different angle. He wasn't an engineer, but he was a problem solver by nature. His daily job required him to navigate unpredictable traffic, find shortcuts, and adapt on the fly. With his real-world experience, Marcus immediately identified flaws in the engineer's approach. The delivery system had been designed without understanding the human element, the flexibility, adaptability, and decision-making that only a driver like Marcus could bring. Marcus casually suggested a simple change that would allow the system to adjust in real time to the evolving traffic situation. His idea seemed too basic to the engineers at first, but Marcus explained how small tweaks could make all the difference, drawing from his years of experience navigating the city. He suggested an integration of real-time traffic data, improved GPS routing, and a more intuitive design that catered to the unpredictable nature of city traffic. The engineers were skeptical at first. After all, they were highly trained professionals with years of experience in the field, while Marcus was just a delivery driver. How could someone like him come up with a solution that they hadn't been able to figure out? They brushed off his suggestion, thinking it was just another casual remark from a driver who didn't understand the complexities of their work. However, as the engineers struggled with their own designs, the idea kept nagging at them. They were at a crossroads, desperate for breakthrough. Marcus' simple, yet insightful approach was something they hadn't considered. Eventually, they decided to humor him and test his idea, albeit half-heartedly. They quickly realized that they had nothing to lose. The engineers set up a trial run to implement Marcus' suggestion. They integrated the real-time traffic data and improved GPS routing into their system, making adjustments to the software. It was a risky move, but they were desperate. As the system began running, the engineers were in awe of how much smoother things were. The previously inefficient routes were now optimized, and the system adapted to traffic conditions in a way they had never seen before. The delivery trucks were now moving faster and more efficiently than ever before. Marcus, who had been watching from the sidelines, couldn't help but smile. He had known all along that his solution would work. While the engineers had been too focused on theoretical models and complex algorithms, Marcus had relied on something much simpler: real-world experience. The engineers set up a trial run to implement Marcus' suggestion. They integrated the real-time traffic data and improved GPS routing into their system, making adjustments to the software. It was a risky move, but they were desperate. As the system began running, the engineers were in awe of how much smoother things were. The previously inefficient routes were now optimized, and the system adapted to traffic conditions in a way they had never seen before. The delivery trucks were now moving faster and more efficiently than ever before. Marcus, who had been watching from the sidelines, couldn't help but smile. He had known all along that his solution would work. While the engineers had been too focused on theoretical models and complex algorithms, Marcus had relied on something much simpler: real-world experience. The success of the trial run was a game-changer for the engineers. They couldn't believe how something so simple had led to such a massive improvement. Marcus explained the core of his solution. It wasn't about overcomplicating the system with advanced technology. It was about making it flexible and adaptable to real-world situations. He showed them how he used his knowledge of local roads, traffic patterns, and delivery constraints to offer a more intuitive solution. The engineers were amazed at how much they had overlooked the human element in their design. While they had been obsessed with the technical aspects, they hadn't considered the practical, day-to-day challenges drivers face. The system had to be more than just a series of instructions. It had to work for people who were on the ground, dealing with traffic, road closures, and customer demands. Once the system was fully optimized, the results were nothing short of extraordinary. The efficiency of the delivery service improved drastically, reducing delays and improving customer satisfaction. What had once been an expensive, inefficient system was now a lean, streamlined operation that saved both time and money. Marcus had not only solved a problem that 20 engineers had failed to tackle, but he had also opened their eyes to a new way of thinking. His approach had shattered their preconceived notions of what it meant to design a delivery system. The engineers were stunned by the impact of Marcus' simple idea and couldn't believe they hadn't seen it before. What was even more surprising was how quickly they had implemented the solution. It was a true testament to the power of perspective, experience, and collaboration. Marcus became a local hero among the engineers and the company. His name was now synonymous with innovation, not because he had a fancy degree or had spent years studying algorithms, but because he had used practical experience to solve a problem. His story spread quickly, and many began to realize that sometimes the best solutions come from the most unexpected places. The engineers, in turn, learned an invaluable lesson: that the real world often holds solutions that no amount of theoretical knowledge can provide. They now understood the importance of listening to people who were directly involved in the process and not just relying on their own expertise. Marcus' contribution was a reminder that innovation doesn't always come from a boardroom or a laboratory. It can come from anyone who is willing to think differently,